Coming up on Tech News Today, it's our predictions results show. We look at the predictions we made for 2011 last year and see how well we did and name a prediction champion. Coming up next.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for Tech News Today is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is Tech News Today for Monday, December 26, 2011, Boxing Day. Tech News Today is brought to you by Netflix. Watch thousands of TV episodes and movies on your PC, Mac, iPad, iPhone, or TV instantly, all streamed directly to you, saving you time, money, and hassle. For your free 30-day trial, go to netflix.com/twit. Welcome to Tech News Today. I'm Tom Merritt.
I'm Sarah Lane.
I'm Iyaz Akhtar.
I'm Jason Howell.
And it's totally Monday, the day after Christmas.
Oh, man.
Everybody have a great holiday.
This
Wow.
is the
What a great
best
day.
ever. Wow, do I have a pie coma hangover?
I have a pie coma from calculating pie this weekend, too.
Yeah, I mean, it just keeps going.
Yeah. Oddly, I also ate a lot of pie, just as a totally unrelated coincidence.
Unrelated. I see what you did there.
Yep.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
The English language is fun.
How many digits did you get to?
Like 1,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oof. I didn't even
So
get close.
irrational.
Then I had to
You
go
win.
off memory, you know.
Irrational
win.
behavior.
Well, this is our predictions results show. Last year, at the end of the year, we did a predictions show with myself, Sarah Lane, Dr. Kiki, and a special taped bit from Becky Worley. This year, Becky didn't even bother to give us a taped bit, so she's not here. But we have Iyaz Akhtar with us.
Hey, so I will be filling in for the spot of Becky.
And, of course, Jason Howell. You had predictions last year as well.
Will you be filling in for
I'm
Jason?
afraid to look at them, but yes, I did have some predictions.
So we're going to follow up and just see how well we did. Because at this time of year, everybody makes their predictions, but nobody fesses up how well they did last year.
Uh-huh.
So this is where we...
Put our feet to the fire kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Put our pie to the fire.
So who goes first with what they predicted?
I'll go first unless
All right.
somebody else wants
no,
to.
you
We
go
can
ahead.
All
All right.
Rochambeau over it. But
Congress will be forced to act on net neutrality over backbone fights. Not so much.
Didn't happen.
Did not happen. I really thought that whole level 3, you guys are charging us for bandwidth. I thought that was going to come to a head. Net neutrality sort of came to a head with the FCC and Congress getting into it. But in the opposite of being forced to act, they sort of made sure nothing happened.
Then again, I mean, it was a big year for the government being involved in the way internet works in general. I mean,
Yes,
we're
that's
embroiled in a battle right now. So
Right.
it's not as if you were off course.
Right.
It was just very specific.
Tune in Friday to see what I think. Apple TV built into a television with some kind of television partner and sold as a set-top box. I think what I meant to say was that everyone will start predicting an Apple television.
yeah.
You left that
by
word
the
out.
end of the year.
I understand.
that must have been edited
That's-
out by accident.
Yeah, I
think
coughed, swallowed my words.
yeah, there was a blip in the recording. Got it.
I said Walter Isaacson's book. He's going to write a book, and his book
will come out shortly after Steve Jobs' death.
Wait a second.
by the end of 2011, Chrome OS will eat the rest of the netbook market.
Well, something ate the rest of the netbook
I
market.
just was wrong about who,
Yeah.
but yeah, netbook market. I was half right, I guess. Do I get partial credit for that?
Hey, Jason, you're a professor. Does he get partial credit?
No, because I don't think the actual causation is there. But it's interesting to think, even just a year ago, that you would consider Chrome OS to be that strong. And now it just kind of seems like, at this point it's a little bit of a joke.
Around?
Yeah.
Competition for internet TV will narrow down to 3 or 4 platforms, and one will have the lead. Definitely not. Definitely swinging.
Which one was
swinging
the
and
one? I don't
misses.
remember if you named anybody.
I didn't name.
No.
No, I said that we've got all these platforms out because we had a little conversation about this because you're like, isn't that what we have now?
Right.
I was like, no, but we have Infinite, we have TiVo, and we have Boxy, and we have Roku, and all this stuff. And I said it's going to narrow down. It has narrowed
In the boxes. Okay.
since last year, but it hasn't.
How so?
Well, in other words, I think when we think of these set-top boxes, we think, okay, it's Roku, the game consoles, Apple TV, Google TV, and then the others, Western Digital and TiVo. They've kind of fallen behind as far as top of mind awareness, but it's not what I expected to happen. What I expected us to have like 3 or 4 really popular platforms, and that didn't happen.
But then the consoles actually took away all that space. I mean, because they had so much more added functionality over the course of the year with
But
Netflix
even the
and Hulu.
consoles didn't become like, well, the way to watch internet TV is consoles.
Oh, yeah,
You know, and that's what I
quintessential.
thought.
Right.
That's what I thought was going to happen. Internet TV will outshine 3D TV. Hey,
I think that's right.
Hey, I think you got that one. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
yeah. Not by much.
Actually, it's only because 3D has just failed miserably.
Yeah.
So much so that it wouldn't take
But
much.
no, internet-connected TVs
Yeah.
have become, like, people are interested in that.
Absolutely.
And that was what I was saying, is people will be more interested in internet-connected TVs than they will without 3D TVs. App stores galore.
Yes.
We've definitely seen that. That was kind of a gimme, though, because we sort of knew the Mac App Store was coming at the time.
I mean, kind of, but I mean, you actually, at least in the Android space, app stores has been a huge kind of theme throughout the year, and not,
Right.
not just the official one, but there have been many others that have kind of come into. I mean, most notably, obviously, Amazon's, but yeah, app stores are a big deal.
Microsoft announced their Windows App Store will come in Windows 8. We got the BlackBerry app world, getting juiced up for the playbook. I mean, not with very good juice.
Right. I mean, it was
WebOS.
there, but
It's
they
so
put it there.
sad that
That's about it.
anytime we talk about RIM, it's like there's like a little chuckle that happens.
Well, I know. It's,
I
it's
try
kind of
hard
rude.
not to,
I know.
but it's like
you're
we're all
right. You're right. We
smirking.
shouldn't
So
do that. More paywalls on newspaper sites, but the paywalls will end up being a wash. Ad dollars will increase. And make it so that the paywalls really don't look that necessary. New York Times will have a huge win by doing the paywall right. This ended up being much less important of a story than I thought it was, but I think that's pretty much accurate. We've seen a lot more newspaper sites put paywalls up, and they've ended up being sort of irrelevant. Nobody's made a big deal out of them one way or another, and ad dollars have increased in the newspaper industry.
Yeah, and I'm actually surprised how quickly the the revolt against what I can't read the rest of this Wall Street Journal article type of thing died down.
Yeah.
It's sort of like if you can't read it, you don't want to pay, then you go somewhere else.
Yeah, it
'Cause
turns
people have
out
that
that
option too.
that's what people do. If they can't get into it, they probably don't do what the newspapers would like you to do, which is to pay for that access, to gain access to that one magical article. You just end up doing a search and finding something equally valuable.
Exactly.
I do think that the New York Times did it right because I don't notice it. When I go to a New York Times articles, links, I never run into the paywall. Because I'm using it below that level at which they want your money. And I think that's exactly the right thing to do. You only want your most ardent readers to pay because they'll be willing to pay. Even the Times of London, which was at the time we did this episode last year, ardently, viciously forcing out the paywall. They ended up relaxing their paywall. I read the Times of London's app all the time and never pay. And I don't know what I'm doing, but I seem to be running under their radar because they relaxed. It used to be like you had to pay or you got nothing, and they've relaxed that a bit. I said more ad money will move on to the web, and that has happened.
Because of the word more, not like the majority of.
Well, actually, I didn't even say more. I said ad money will move on to the web.
That's fair.
I
I
see.
was looking at the wrong cell there.
So and it has been a trend. It's also kind of a gimme, I think. Book publishers will start suing fans and try locking down books.
Suing fans? I don't remember that story.
I basically said the book
They were
industry is
gonna
going to
do-
become like the
Right.
music industry and the video industry before it
No.
in its attitude towards the public.
We saw some weird stuff with the e-publishers or the publishers with overdrive and library use, but I don't know if this has actually happened where they've directly gone after the consumer. They've kind of messed with the library system a bit, but not necessarily the consumer.
Yeah, it's only partially true and not nearly as true as I thought it would be. I thought it was going to become this big, waging war against. They've sort of
Book publishers don't learn the valuable lesson that they should have from the music industry's foibles type
Yeah,
thing.
and they haven't,
Right.
but they also aren't leading the charge. They're not. You don't find people being taken to court.
Right.
Essentially, I think the strategy moved on without them. They went and said and got into the game at the point when the video industry has said our best bet is legislation like SOPA, and the book industry said, "Great, we'll get in line behind you there." So I think this one's wrong. All major live sports will be available through pay services by the end of the year.
All.
NFL is.
Yeah.
Through the PlayStation. That was my big one.
MLB.TV was available.
MLB and NHL were already.
NBA?
is available.
It's
You can get it on Google TV, as a matter of fact.
Question: do you count
UFC is on Roku.
and Yahoo?
That's a major sporting event.
Is Major League Soccer a major?
Yeah, Major League Soccer is available on Roku. How
many of these weren't available before
NFL was the big one.
NFL was a holdout.
And that one came through. The thing I'm not sure about is I think what I was meaning is that without blackouts. I didn't say that. But I'm not going to give myself this one because I'm pretty sure I meant you can just say, I'll pay you MLB and I'll get all my sports. You still can't. You're blacked out of your local teams.
I feel like it's going to be a while before that happens.
Yeah,
they're holding on to that blackout period for their local advertisers.
Instead, we actually get we get freaking Super Bowl live for free.
Right.
That just
next year. That's totally.
Laptop sales will slow, and the computer market will become a continuum of forms rather than distinct separations. So some people will only have tablets and phones and not even bother with laptops and desktops. You'll just basically choose whatever fits your way of working. Very nebulous prediction.
Did you predict the post-PC era by accident?
I sort of did. Maybe that's what I was talking. Yes, that totally is what I was talking about.
That's where Steve Jobs got it from.
He was listening to last year's predictions.
Well, it was a really good show last year.
Yeah.
I think this is happening. Absolutely.
I feel like I made it nebulous enough that it almost could not happen.
Sure, someone somewhere doesn't have a laptop. It's true. Good one.
I knew I was going to get this one wrong. I even said it on the show. I was like, this was more wishful thinking. A big breakthrough in battery tech, which we're still waiting on. There have been lots of research, but we haven't got the battery came out that said, this extends the battery life 1 million times. There's lots of power-saving tech that we've seen this year, but not a lot of battery tech. This one I think I nailed. I said NFC would continue to be a buzzword throughout the year, but won't really be used by anyone in practice.
Totally. Nailed it.
Jason was talking about like there'd be a lack of infrastructure around. Even if NFC made it, you wouldn't have the devices, and that's
right. Yeah,
what
you need both in order for it to be successful, right? And how many devices do you have right now with NFC built into it? A couple.
Yeah.
And then where's the infrastructure? Where are you going to actually use it? In order for it to be successful, you need both of those things.
Finally, browsers take on more operating system functions, and this was sort of coming out of the Chrome OS. Chrome App Store, and cloud behavior, all of that may not have happened as much as I thought it was going to happen, but it certainly has continued a trend where we're using our browsers more for everything than apps on the desktop. I think that's why, to me, the Mac App Store seems more irrelevant than the App Store on the phone, because I don't need it. I do almost everything in my browser.
That and Google's been doing this push with Chrome where you can actually access the GPU and do some serious gaming in the browser, which is something you normally would be doing on the operating system level.
So do I get credit for that one?
Did that Chrome version come out?
What Chrome version?
The one that actually uses GPU and uses HTML5 to do gaming?
No, I don't think so, but I didn't say it would. I just said browsers will take on more operating systems.
More
OS.
Yes or no?
Boot to Gecko. I don't know.
That's
Chat
a hard
room.
one. I don't know. Yeah, what's the consensus?
Chat room. What? Oh,
credit.
Jeff says I get credit. He's the first one to answer.
Yeah, Jeff, you get it then. You get credit for giving credit.
To Jeff. There you go.
All right, let's take a quick break. Thank our sponsor, Netflix, netflix.com/twit. Great way to spend your holidays watching some TV shows and movies, unlimited streaming on all these boxes we were talking about earlier. Boxy Box, on the Roku, on the PS3, on the Wii, on the Xbox 360. Some televisions, those internet-connected televisions, have the Netflix app built into them. It's almost impossible to buy a new gadget that doesn't have the ability to watch Netflix on it somehow if it has a screen at all. So check it out if you haven't, netflix.com/twit. Or if you're late on a holiday present, you're like, oh, crap, I forgot to get somebody, like write it on a card and hand it to them. Say, here, 30 days free.
Don't worry, it's paid for.
I am the cheapest person on earth. Go there. Sign up. And we thank Netflix for their support of Tech News Today. All right, Sarah.
All right. My predictions. This time last year, I predicted, above all else, that people will hate Comcast even more in 2011 than they did in 2010. Now, I'm not saying that didn't happen, but I think that there are some other companies that took top spots.
Kind of took away the shine.
And buried Comcast outright. Sony and Netflix come to mind.
Yeah.
But you didn't predict that Comcast would be hated more than everything else. Right?
That's true.
But So was this a person? Was this like a personal vendetta?
Totally. This came out of a personal issue that I had with Comcast, which resulted in me canceling my cable subscription. I still have Comcast Internet. It's my only choice.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I'm probably going to be getting Comcast up here in Petaluma,
Yeah.
so I want to know.
Well, at the time, it seemed like, wow, Comcast just keeps doing stuff that pisses people off, putting in a 250 gigabyte cap and then, throttling.
Exactly.
And they really haven't done much like that.
No. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I want to.
I'm going to give you credit, though, because it's not like people like Comcast more.
Yeah, they didn't change.
It's not like people like Comcast. I guess I just.
Chat room's giving you credit mostly.
Thank you, chat room. That's very nice
Some
of you.
them. Half points.
What I expected was for Comcast to make a few more missteps and just become the company that people hate the most. Instead, it's just sort of a company that isn't great, but people use because they have to.
They've continued doing all the same crap
that
things.
AT&T vibe going.
I'm on the right track. There just happened to be other companies that were fulfilling my prediction.
They stole the spotlight.
You're right, yeah. Thanks for that, Sony. Next prediction, people will be forced to have a better understanding of net neutrality. I certainly hope that's true. I think this year was, it's a pivotal year for net neutrality. Certainly, I think that people are having the same issue right now with SOPA. I've had a couple people ask me, what is the difference between the Protect IP and SOPA? People want to understand. And it's not like it's, you can understand if you just want to make sure that you read the issues.
I feel like net neutrality sort of faded away over the course of the year and became less of an issue.
Yeah, we're not worried about bits. We're worried about sites. We're like, can we even access this?
Yeah,
not necessarily
kinda
can I use Skype or gaming?
Forget about Comcast degrading my connection. What about the government?
Yeah. Well, I have
It
a
got
website.
eclipsed, yeah.
My domain gone?
So, sure. I very much hope that people have been forced to better understand net neutrality.
Yeah, how do we vote on this one?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Hive mind? What do you think?
I don't know if people were forced to into a position where they had to understand net neutrality better. It certainly seemed like it was a buzzword there, though, for a while that I was seeing on TV, and maybe I was just aware of it more, or I'm not sure, but I felt like for a while it was on a lot more. But yeah, I don't know if they were forced to.
All right, we'll say no. I really screwed that one up. Okay, next prediction. I kind of knew that this was going to happen, so this is a little bit of a.
Gimme.
This is I don't know what it is. I predicted that the new iPad would have a camera. Now, of course, at this time...
Of course, we all know it didn't.
Well, you're wrong.
What kind of iPad did you get?
It's got cameras.
Wow.
Yeah, hey, wait a minute.
You
got
got
two
cameras.
Serves you right for
cameras.
buying things on the black market.
So technically you're incorrect.
You said singular camera. There are two.
We'll have camera.
We'll have iPad. We'll have camera.
Is camera also like Moose?
iPad will be with camera.
And it was. Of course, this time it's almost weird to imagine that. I guess this time last year there was just one iPad.
Yep.
It wasn't even an iPad 1. There was just
it was
iPad,
just
and it didn't have any cameras, and it was thicker and
it wasn't for certain. Yeah, I mean it seems obvious now, but it wasn't for certain. Apple does crazy things.
It wasn't for certain. I would have been extremely surprised if I had been wrong.
Yeah.
So yes, I was right. By design. Next prediction, also Apple related. I didn't get this one right. We will not see a white iPhone. I predicted it, and I actually have a white iPhone now.
And so does Tom. He's showing it.
Oh,
here it is.
there we go.
Look at that.
And the reason...
Yeah, it exists.
This is the best part. Not only do I have one, but so does Sarah.
I have a white iPhone. I was excited about it. Here's the thing. The reason that I predicted this is because we heard about this vapory white iPhone for a long time before we actually were able to get it. Didn't come until iPhone came to Verizon, which was back in March. It was earlier this year. But at the time of the holidays last year, I was starting to feel like Apple was just going to drop it because they had dragged the whole thing out too long.
I kind of felt the same way.
I wanted a white iPhone, and that's why I cared enough, and now I'm going to drop it and break the darn thing. I wanted one so badly, it didn't have white iPads either, that I was frustrated enough to predict, we're never going to see it. I was wrong, thankfully. I'm glad I was wrong on that one. Next prediction, the Google Chrome OS netbooks will be thinner than they are now.
Wow, Chrome was really just kind of like on our minds.
What was the notebook back then?
Chrome OS was a big deal.
It was only
last
the
December.
demo.
I guess so.
The new ones hadn't come out yet. We were still waiting for the actual commercial versions.
Yeah.
Right.
It
So
might be.
yeah, they're thinner. I I was going off the prototype, the first one that I saw in December.
that thing was
of last
bulky.
year.
That's right. That's right. The what's it?
That was
they
the
definitely are
40
thinner.
something or other.
XR40 or whatever.
Something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so yay me. Next prediction, massive death of tech startups because there are too many of them. There's going to be a tech bubble that's popping for a lot of companies. We're going to start to see the bubble collapse by the end of 2011. Okay, I think I jumped the gun on this.
Do you remember what you were saying? Because this was kind of a gut feeling. You're like, at the time you were saying, I have so many friends who are getting all these job offers, and I just feel like it can't be sustained, and a lot of these companies are going to disappear.
I don't feel that this has happened. I still feel that it will. I absolutely do. In a way, I feel like the bubble's only gotten bigger in the last year. And I say this because if I just fire up my phone right now, I have all of these apps that I think are great, but they all do similar stuff. They don't all do similar stuff, but many of them have overlapping qualities. And some of these people are my friends.
Sarah, it'll go on forever. Just like the real estate market and the dot-com boom before it.
Right. There's no
no
bottom.
way it'll stop.
There's no bottom to fall out. I don't feel like this is a sustainable marketplace. I don't think that we're headed for some sort of tech collapse.
Right.
What I mean is that people who have money cannot just continue to give people who don't have money but good ideas endless amounts of money. It doesn't work that way.
Yep.
And right now we're still on the up and up, and it just worries me. So no, I'm not right, but I still think that I will be.
I'm not
it just
right,
didn't happen
but
right.
I will be.
I'm not right. Yeah, but just you wait. Okay, Twitter will not be acquired, and ding, 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 it wasn't.
Nice.
Go, Sarah.
That was one where we were all going around the horn.
Yeah.
And I think we all agreed.
Yeah, I feel like the Twitter being acquired thing is shelved for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I don't think they want to be acquired.
No, they're doing their own thing. They're they just launched a new version. They're trying to figure out advertising.
And they worked on their business plan this year. What was a crazy thing, huh? They're like, we're going to have ads in your
They've
stream.
always, that's the pundits have been saying they don't have a business plan. They've always had a business plan.
Right.
They just didn't tell anyone what it was. And
This
so
is
everyone's
just the
like,
latest
they
iteration.
don't have one.
I predicted, because I was excited about the Mac App Store, there's going to be a lot of new good app-type software. I believe absolutely that's happened. I love the Mac App Store. I do a lot of stuff on my browser as well, but the App Store has been great. I've downloaded pretty much everything. If I look
It's
at the
a hard
Mac
one
App
to
Store
judge
right
whether
now,
you are right or not.
Good software.
it depends on who you ask, I guess.
I'm just going to give a dash.
You're gonna.
Not wrong.
That's a wash.
I don't know.
I passed the class, but
Yeah.
we're not going to give me
This
a
is a
grade.
pass-fail question.
Okay.
There was not like horrible software.
Well, look at the top paid Mac OS apps. OS 10 Lion,
Yeah.
quite a big download. FaceTime, Pages, iPhoto, Real Racing 2. So we've got games. See, I don't actually play any games.
And you
Mac App Store.
predicted you would be excited about the Mac Store, which you were.
Yes. I didn't predict that I would be
No, I
excited. I was excited. So I got a dash for that. Awesome. Windows tablets will be more popular than Windows phones. This is what I predicted a year ago.
Yeah, I think we all expected to see Windows tablets
Now,
at CES.
Hold on a second. The expectation for Windows tablets is certainly more popular than Windows phones.
Chat room, we're going
I
to
don't
need a
agree
ruling
with
on
that.
this one.
Come on, guys.
That's
That's a key
that's clever.
differentiator, that term there.
All right.
Windows
Fine.
tab. No.
Is this
Windows tablets hasn't happened yet. Fine. That's a no. I predicted, because of all of the cloud services that were cropping up, and many of them rolled out this year, that we would start to learn nothing lasts forever, even in the cloud. And companies would have to have thought this through. What I was imagining is the very first, I uploaded all of my photos, from of my family, the first 5 years of my child's life, into some cloud service. There was a server meltdown, and I've lost everything.
Right.
I can't think of
PlayStation Network is the closest thing I can think
EC2
of.
outage was pretty good. I mean, it's not exactly the
But it
same.
was temporary.
Right.
Oh, well, no, there was some
That was
data
up for
loss,
a while.
wasn't there?
There was some
There
sites
some
that were
minor
affected,
data loss.
But I mean,
there.
it wasn't the same kind of like personal story thing.
Right.
It was more like, I can't access this website.
I was thinking more personal, but I think that we've I don't think we're quite there yet. I think people are still like, cloud, great, awesome. Don't have to store things locally.
I've learned over the years, like predicting a disaster, you're almost always going to be wrong.
Well, maybe that's what you do. You predict disasters so that we avoid
Prevent them, like the tech bubble thing.
Wow, right.
Very good. Very good.
All right, so cloud, I feel like people are still pretty bullish on the whole cloud idea. We'll see in 2012. And finally, I predicted that TWiT would go Skype HD. I at the time, we were still back in the cottage, so I predicted that the Skypeosaurus would be all HD Skype connections. That did not happen. Through no fault of my own.
Well, if you could have controlled it, then that wouldn't make a very good prediction because you would have just made it happen.
Yeah, it's we're not quite there yet, but it has a lot more to do with broadband connections all over the world than what we can do here because it's a two-way street, obviously.
All right, Jason, Howell.
This will be easy because I think I got almost everything wrong. No iPhone on Verizon. Yes, I said no iPhone on Verizon. I think at the time everybody was saying there was going to be, it's so obvious there's going to be one. And I was like, well, somebody's got to take the other side. So I definitely got that wrong. No tablet will come close to matching the iPad.
That's
right.
fairly true. I'll give you that one. I mean, the Fire, as soon as you bring up the Fire, people say, well, it's not a competitor to the iPad.
Right.
It's not matching.
Because the numbers don't match up. And so it is sort of an unfair comparison.
But it's certainly a tablet that gets a lot of talk, but still comes nowhere close to kind of the Fire behind the iPad.
No, I think that one's right.
There will be a new iPad.
Oh,
which
so
seems,
2 of 3. Yeah, you're doing horrible.
Yeah.
No, believe me, it gets worse. Will be a new iPad, which may seem obvious in retrospect, but like you said earlier, we really didn't know that there was going to be a revision to the iPad at that point. So, Apple will release a revolutionary 3D technology across its platforms. Yeah, I got that one wrong. Although I still feel they're going to do that eventually.
Basically, Siri is what you were. Is what did this
What
instead?
did this instead,
Because you
for
were
sure.
saying there's going to be a big thing. Apple always has a big new thing
Right.
that they roll out, and you thought it was going to be 3D, and it ended up being Siri.
Right. Twitter will not be bought. As you said, we went around the horn, and it seems like we all chose that. Groupon will wish they had sold to Google for $6 billion.
I don't
No?
think that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, their IPO hasn't been as successful as they would like.
But it hasn't been a failure either completely.
Well, maybe
I guess
it's just
still.
kind
It's
of
so
been-
new.
will tell.
Yeah.
It's hard to know what Groupon will even be in the next 6 months.
I'd say right now they're pretty happy
Eric
with where
Schmidt
they're
would
at.
know.
He knows everything that's going to. He's been to 6 months from now.
And he's going to say it to the
I just
shareholders.
visited 6 months from now. And let me tell you, shelves are full of Google Teams.
Blockbuster goes away. I think I thought that they were just done for, and they are definitely not done for.
Surprisingly, they're not.
Yes.
They're just like a
they're still
label
kicking.
right now from Dish at this point.
Yeah, Dish bought them, and that
Yeah.
saved their ass.
Right. Cutting the cord will be a desire for many and remain a reality for few.
Nailed that one.
Yeah, I'd say because cutting
Everybody
cord,
still
cutting
talks
cord
about it,
still kind of seems to be this like bubbling up type thing that people more and more want to be able to do, but still it's really hard to do. iTunes Music subscription cloud service. That's
Boy,
kind of right.
taste a subscription out, and you
Yeah.
nailed it.
Yeah,
It's just not
totally.
a subscription
You do have
service.
to pay every year to
But
get
yeah, exactly.
iTunes Match, so
Oh.
technically you might be there.
That's not what you were meaning, because you were thinking like a Spotify type
I was
thing.
thinking like, yeah, you pay a fee and then you get like, yeah.
I'm going to
access
give it to
the
you,
library.
though, on a technicality.
I guess so, because yeah,
On
you
your
are
wording.
paying a monthly fee. I'll
Tis
take it.
the season.
At this point, I'll take it.
Merry
Technicalities.
Christmas, Jason.
Thank you. You knew exactly what I wanted, Tom. That's great.
To be right.
Okay, so this one's pretty interesting. 55% of all mobile phones will be smartphones. But it turns out when you look at a report from, I think, last month, it says only 27% of all mobile phones worldwide are smartphones.
It's 44% in the U.S.
I was going to say, I could have swore last year I looked it up and it was somewhere in the 40% range.
And it's still in the 40s.
Okay, well, I still got it wrong, but at least I didn't get it that wrong.
I think I think if you hold this one over, this one may be right this coming year.
Okay. We'll see.
Especially in
as
the US,
the
yeah.
phones get cheaper and cheaper. And then finally, Skype's going to be sold again. And this was the one that I'm most proud of.
Because
everybody
all
thought I was
immediately
crazy.
said, "You're nuts! You're
Yes.
crazy! What are you talking about? They just sold it. eBay just got rid of it.
They want to stay independent. They're going to try it on their own. Yes, I felt very happy when this came true. I was like, yes, at least I know I got one bold prediction right. So that's mine.
You have done the best of all of us so far.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, you have.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have.
Tom, you're one ahead of
7-14.
me.
Well, no, but I also
He's
had
only
I
half.
had more predictions.
Oh, yeah, but percentage you're
You have to
doing
go by
better.
percentage.
Oh, by percentage. Whoa. Okay. All right. I'll take it.
All right. Well, that's all of us that were here last year and are also here this year. Iyaz, you looked over Becky's predictions.
Yeah, I did.
If you want to summarize how well she did.
Not well.
She also picked an Apple TV that'll exist. A 42-inch television didn't happen. Apple. That's what I said.
Didn't happen.
Apple will buy
Not
Sonos.
happening.
It didn't happen. Google didn't buy Twitter.
Oh, she thought Google would buy Twitter.
Wii 3D or some upgrade. Now, there was the
Some
3DS.
D upgrade.
Yeah, it's just for the Wii. But the thing is, there was a U that was mentioned but didn't come out this year, so that's incorrect. Netflix has 50 million subscribers. Didn't happen. 23.79 million at the end of the year. 3D TVs without glasses, but will still suck.
That's sort of
did come
true.
true.
There are
But
some screens. You
Yeah,
don't need
there's a few
glasses
more
for.
of them out there. Yeah.
There will be a Verizon iPhone. Duh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Second iPad with camera.
Yep.
Yes. And the bold one with no insider knowledge,
Even though she worked for both companies.
which she did disclaim that that Yahoo and Disney will merge their news departments. What actually happened was ABC and Yahoo announced a partnership to share stories and produce web video series. That's a game changer.
Okay.
So, not bad. Like 1 for like 8, or actually 3 for 8.
All right, not bad. And then Dr. Kiki said that Kiki will not have an iPhone, which is not really a good prediction because she has control over that. But she did write in our doc, the answer to the prediction is that I do not have an iPhone. Prediction correct. In fact, I upgraded my Droid to the Droid 3 this summer. I'm looking forward to another Droid as soon as my Verizon plan allows another purchase discount.
It's all keyboard friendly.
Google will start to create a television production studio.
Close.
YouTube has started
Certainly.
to create a television production network,
Yeah.
but not a studio per se.
Well, they might have a studio. that they're
They may be
shooting
doing it,
things
but they
out
haven't
of.
told us.
In
Yeah.
Google X in the labs,
Right.
there's one big studio that we don't know about with all the viral videos.
VC firms will be hurt when the bubble deflates. That hasn't happened yet, as we talked about with Sarah.
Yeah.
She said Twitter would not be bought. She was right. Netflix will be the leading streaming provider. Major strides in licensing for TV programs. That's actually true.
It still
It's
is.
just not true in the way we all thought it would be.
But
It's
they'd
sort
be
of
on
been
the-
true in despite of everything that happened. Facebook phone or a tightly integrated Facebook device. Now, do we give this one to her? Because
Yes.
we did get those Facebook integrated phones
The
from
Cha-Cha
HTC,
thing,
like
the
the Cha-Cha
Salsa.
and the Salsa.
Yes, I think this goes there.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Backup services for cloud data did not become a huge thing, but there are a few out there. I think there were a few at the end of last year, too.
Yeah.
She said, we'll hear more from WikiLeaks. That definitely, story has faded, but still, I mean,
It
Bradley
was
Manning
still a
trial
powerful
going on
story
right
at
now.
the
So,
end.
yeah.
For sure.
And Congress will seriously consider the do not track list, but that doesn't mean they will pass a do not track list. And in fact, do not track privacy bill did appear in Congress in May. So got that one right. Well done, Kiki. How many did Kiki get? I didn't track that.
Kiki.
Do we count the iPhone one?
No, you can't count the iPhone. You can't. I would just be like, next year I won't buy an iPhone, and then
Next
not
year
buy an
I'll be a
iPhone.
woman.
That's not even.
Hey, look, I still am.
Next year I won't be a man. That would be interesting.
So how much do you want to be right versus?
Yeah, you have to really commit. So, okay, you putting these in?
Yeah.
Jason's
off of
tallying?
memory.
Tallying the results?
Services for cloud data, yeah. More from WikiLeaks, yeah.
No, she doesn't get the cloud services.
Oh, she
one.
doesn't because
No,
that's
that-
already
yeah,
kind of
But yeah.
And then do not track list. She did pretty good.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 1, 2,
Out of
3,
8.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
6 for 8.
Kiki wins. Kiki
Out of percentages.
Kiki Damas. Kikstradamus. And that's why she didn't want to come back. She wanted to go out on top.
One and done.
She's
Like-
classy. She's
yeah.
like, you know what? I don't need to be there to win.
I don't want to show them
That's
up
cool.
again.
Yeah.
That was embarrassing for those guys. All right. Well, that is our predictions results show, holding our feet to the fire. Hope you enjoyed it. We will have our predictions for 2012 at the end of the week on Friday, December 30th. That will be our predictions show. So definitely download that one as well. Thanks, everybody, for watching or listening. You can find us on the web, twit.tv/TNT. Email us, TNT@twit.tv. And give us a call. Leave us a voicemail. We won't get to them until Monday, January 2nd, but you can still leave them, 260-TNT Show. What's coming up
Best
tomorrow?
stories of 2011.
The biggest stories of 2011 tomorrow. We'll see you then.